Hey friends, happy Monday and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor and I'm a stay-at-home wife and mom, and I share What's for Dinner videos just like this every Monday to hopefully motivate you to cook more for your family and give you some meal inspiration. This week I think I tried like 2 new recipes. The rest of it was just like family favorites that we really enjoy, but everything did turn out really good. So as always, any recipes that I mentioned will be linked down below. But real quick, before we get into today's video, I wanted to let you guys know that I added channel memberships to my channel. If you look down underneath this video where it says my name, right next to it, it should say join now, and you can become a channel member. I named the channel members like the fam because Andy always says the fam and whatnot about people who comment a lot and like regularly. So I named y'all the fam, but if you have any other suggestions, you could let me know. The reason I set this up is honestly, I'm going to be honest with you guys, because YouTube told me that they would give me a bonus if I set it up. So I'm getting a bonus just for setting it up. Nobody even has to sign up, but I did already get one channel member, and you guys get some perks along with being called the fam. You get some like little badges that show how long you've been a member. You get some special emojis, which I've only made one so far, which is the little pointer hand that I show in the grocery haul sometimes that the kids do. I made that into an emoji that you can use on my channel if you are a member. And if you have any other ideas for emojis that I could make, let me know. And then you also get like priority for comment like replies from me, and you can get some behind the scenes photos posted on the community tab, and you can also get like members only polls. So if you are interested in that and want to support me in another way, you can become a channel member for $1.99 a month. But let's go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. Starting off with Friday night, we had some chicken parm sliders. I have mentioned that I am trying to use up food in our freezer, and these Tyson chicken nuggets have been in there for a while, and it's honestly because they're not very good. Me and Andy don't like them. The kids kind of like them. They're just not very good chicken nuggets, so I would not recommend buying these, but trying to use them up and not let them go to waste. So I thought maybe hiding them with some sauce and some cheese would help. It definitely helped, but you could still tell that they were not very good chicken nuggets. So I cooked up the chicken nuggets in the air fryer, and then I am laying them out on some slider buns, topping them with some marinara sauce and then some mozzarella cheese, and then putting the tops of the slider buns on, and then Elijah is helping me brush them with some garlic butter, and then I'm going to cover this with foil and stick it in the oven on 350 for 30 minutes. And then to go with this, we did a salad on the side or some fresh veggies, and like I said, these were okay, but that's mostly because of the chicken nuggets that I used. I've done this before with other chicken. I've even done it with like shredded chicken, and I mix it with marinara sauce, and they're good that way. These nuggets, they were Tyson nuggets in like a green bag, and I don't know what it is about them. They are so processed, and I would rather eat McDonald's chicken nuggets than these chicken nuggets. Next up, I tried a new recipe for a simple red beans and rice meal using canned kidney beans. I had picked up a bunch of cans of kidney beans on clearance, like kind of recently at Kroger, and I'm trying to move as few canned goods as possible, so I was like, okay, I need something that uses a lot of beans, and this recipe uses 3 cans of kidney beans, so that was perfect. I did alter the recipe a little bit because I added smoked sausage to it, so I'm starting off by browning up my smoked sausage, and then when it was done, I just removed it from the pan and started following the recipe. So I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of bacon grease and a tablespoon of salted butter, and then my seasonings, which are a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of Creole seasoning, a little bit of salt. The Creole seasoning that I use is pretty salty, so I didn't do too much salt. And then a little bit of black pepper, about half a teaspoon, but I don't measure pepper. I just, let it grind in there until I think it's enough. And I kept stirring that in the oil, like you're trying to get it like bloomed, is what they say about the seasonings. They get like, you can start to smell them, and it apparently enhances the flavor. So I let those cook for like about a minute, and then I'm going to add in my 3 cans of kidney beans. These are light red kidney beans, and you are doing them with the like juice in the can. I know some people don't like to do that, but the recipe said to make sure that you do undrained beans because it helps give it a creamier, thicker texture. So I did not drain or rinse them, and this turned out so delicious. I will definitely be making it again. But you're going to stir in those 3 cans of beans, a 1/4 cup of water, stir it around, and then use a potato masher to kind of mash up some of the beans, because this is also going to help you get a thicker, creamy texture. And then you can just let that simmer for about 20 minutes, stirring occasionally. You don't want anything to stick to the bottom. And I just kept stirring it. You can taste it to see if you need to add any more seasonings. And then once I thought it had simmered long enough, I stirred back in my smoked sausage, and then this was ready to serve. We served this over top some white rice, and it was delicious. It's not authentic red beans and rice in any way. I'm not trying to say that, but it was a very simple and delicious red beans and rice. Sunday we had nachos, which it feels like we just recently had nachos, but the family asked for it again, and I was like, you know what, we've got nacho cheese sauce in there we need to use up anyway, so might as well. So used up the last bag of nacho cheese sauce that I had in the freezer, and this will probably be the last time we have nachos at our house until we move, because I buy nacho cheese in like a giant jar and then separate it out and freeze it, and we are not doing that again until after we move. Monday night we had ribs. I had some in the freezer that I was, again, trying to use up. So I like to do the ribs in the Instant Pot and then stick them in the oven under the broiler. I'm starting off here by making a little dry rub to rub all over them. If you just want to buy one, you can, but you can also just make them really easy with the seasonings that you have on hand. So I am mixing together a tablespoon of brown sugar, a tablespoon of dry mustard, a tablespoon of paprika, a teaspoon of garlic, a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of salt. It said like a smoked salt. I didn't have one like that, so I just used regular salt. And then a teaspoon of black pepper and half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper for a little kick. Mix that together really well, and then we're going to set that aside and get our ribs ready. These ribs that I bought did not have the membrane on them. This is the second time I think I've bought this one, and it doesn't have the membrane on there. You try to like peel it off like you usually would, and it's just not there. So I think it was like the Smithfield brand from Walmart. That makes my life really easy, because trying to pull that membrane off is really difficult. But you want to make sure you take it off, because otherwise it like never gets tender. But never had to take them off on this one. But if you do have that, definitely look up a video on how to remove the membrane. I was going to show y'all, but then it just like wasn't there. Nothing was coming off. And then I just rubbed those ribs down with that seasoning mixture, both sides. And then I've got my Instant Pot here, and I added in 1 cup of water. And then I'm going to do a couple splashes of apple cider vinegar, because I really like that with the ribs. It adds a nice flavor. So add that in the bottom, and then I've got my trivet in there, and I'm going to like move the ribs around into like a C shape and get them in the Instant Pot. And then I cook these on manual high pressure for 20 minutes. And then after that time, you immediately release the rest of the pressure and take them out and lay them flat on a baking sheet. Otherwise, if they start to cool, like in that curled up position, it will be like nearly impossible to lay them flat. So let them cool a little bit on the pan until you're ready to eat them. When you're ready, you can just drizzle them with some barbecue sauce and then stick them under the broiler for about like 5 minutes. That barbecue sauce will start to like get all bubbly and browned and sticky, and then they're ready to eat. We had some macaroni and cheese with this and some salad or fresh veggies on the side, and they always turn out really good this way. You don't have to like cook them for like a really long time. I've done other methods in the oven, but it takes like 2 hours, and I honestly am not wanting to do that at this season of life. I do not think about dinner like that far in advance. Sometimes I forget to even pull meat out of the freezer. So yeah, trying to make sure I have ribs thawed and ready to go 2 hours before we want to eat. Just that's too much for me right now. So the Instant Pot definitely helps save time, and they turn out tender and really good every time. Tuesday was when we were vlogging, and I just didn't really feel like showing step-by-step dinner since I already had the camera out all day, and it's stuff I've already shown you guys before. This is Magic Tilapia. The recipe I'm going to link down below is going to be for Magic Shrimp, and it's really delicious. I made it with shrimp the first time, then we've made it with tilapia, and then we've made it with shrimp again. We like it both ways. And then the couscous is just like some garlic butter Parmesan couscous. Made that, mixed in some butter and garlic and Parmesan cheese, and then we had some air fried zucchini on the side as well. I will try to leave a video of where I've made the tilapia or the shrimp, like step by step. It's kind of simple. There's kind of a lot of like little steps involved, but it is worth it. It's very buttery and really good. Wednesday we had lasagna, which again is a family favorite. That's something that my family would probably eat every week. They'd eat spaghetti, lasagna, tuna casserole, and nachos, and like they don't care about anything else. Those are probably the top 4 meals in my house. So yeah, lasagna, and I've made that many times, so I will share that video down below. Had some garlic bread with it and some steamed broccoli. Thursday night we tried a new recipe for a sticky honey hoisin chicken. I had like most of a jar of hoisin sauce in the fridge, and that's another thing I'm trying to use up. As many condiments and stuff are in the fridge as possible, because like I don't even know how you would move anything from the fridge like 1,000 miles. Like I don't know if we could take a cooler with that stuff or what. So I'm trying to use up like whatever I can, so I'm not wasting stuff. So this recipe uses quite a bit of hoisin sauce, especially since I am doubling the sauce. This recipe was not originally intended for the Instant Pot, but I decided to adapt it for the Instant Pot because I went to cook my chicken and it was still partially frozen. So I was like, you know what? Throw it in the Instant Pot. So I am starting by like whisking together the sauce in the Instant Pot with it on the saute function. Keep in mind the recipe that I linked down below is half of what I am doing because I am doubling the sauce because I had a little bit more chicken thighs and I like things like really saucy, and so does my family. So in here I've added a little bit of oil, and then I've got some of those like frozen garlic and ginger cubes. I'm adding those in along with hoisin sauce, honey, soy sauce, rice vinegar, and sesame oil. And I'm going to give that a good stir. Make sure that cube of ginger and garlic have kind of dissolved. Mix it around. And then I'm going to add in my chicken thighs. As I said, they were partially frozen. They were all kind of like stuck together. I separated them as best as I could. But we've got like 2, 4, 6, I think, because each one of those little chunks is like 2 chicken thighs that are still like pretty frozen together. So I got those in there, and then I put the Instant Pot lid on this and cooked this on manual high pressure for 15 minutes, and then I let it do a natural release, and then I went in and my chicken was done, and I just kind of shredded it up just a little bit with the tongs, and then I thought the sauce wasn't quite as thick as I wanted it to be, so I mixed together like a tablespoon of cornstarch and a tablespoon of water, stirred that in, and then the sauce thickened up nicely. And then I made some fried rice to go with this because we all love fried rice. And the kids and I also really like pot stickers. Andy is not so much of a fan of pot stickers, so I made some pot stickers on the side for me and the kids as well, because that was something we had in the freezer. A perk that I forgot to mention at the beginning of being a member is that we get member shout outs at the end of What's for Dinner videos. So a shout out to my one and only member currently, Elio, I'm not sure how you say it, but thank you so much for supporting me. That is going to be it for this What's for Dinner. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave me a thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below if you plan on trying any of the recipes that I mentioned. If you guys missed the vlog from Friday, go check it out. I announced our big news that I mentioned last week. We are moving, but if you want to find out where, go check out that other video. And if you're interested in being a channel member, click on that join button down below and you can find out more info. Thank you guys so much, and I will see y'all on the next one. Bye.